On June 28, 2024, the Supreme Court ruled that cities can fine people for sleeping outside, even when there is no shelter bed available. The fine starts at $295. If you can't pay, it rises to $537. After that, 90 days in jail for sleeping. Within 6 months, over 200 cities passed or expanded laws banning homeless camping. And here is what none of them address. People don't stop needing shelter just because you make it illegal. They build it anyway with tarps, with pallets, with things engineers said would never work until they saw them standing. Shelter. Number 3. The tarp lean-to 2 metal poles, paracord lashing at the top, a 10 by 12 blue tarp, $8 at any hardware store, draped over the ridge, tent pegs in the corners. The tarp sheds rain, it blocks wind. In engineering terms, it's a simple tensile structure, the same principle used for stadium roofs and airport terminals. In Grants Pass, Oregon, this gets you an escalating fine. Multiple violations, a 30-day park ban, then criminal trespass, then 90 days in jail. Not because it doesn't work, because it's visible. The absurdity ratio, an $8 tarp equals a $295 fine, which unpaid becomes $537, which unpaid becomes 3 months behind bars. $8 of plastic becomes a crime with a punishment 60 times its value. Shelter number 2, pallet shelters. A company called Pallet Shelter builds tiny homes for about $8,600 each, 64 to 100 square feet, fiberglass and aluminum, electric hookups, locking doors. Assembled in under an hour. More than half of Pallet's team has experienced homelessness themselves. The placement rate into permanent housing for people in pallet shelters, 1 in 3, compared to 1 in 10 for long-term homeless in other shelter types. The catch. In 7 years, Pallet built over 4,500 shelters across 120 sites. Cities pay for them. Non-profits manage them. They're called innovative solutions in city council meetings. But if you build one yourself, a pallet structure using scrap wood from a construction site, police call it illegal camping. When the city builds it through a contractor, it's a solution. When you build it with the exact same materials, it's a crime. Here is the pattern that connects everything. The better the shelter, the faster it comes down. A tarp is an eyesore, but a tiny house with walls and a door is a precedent. Shelter number 1, the right to build a roof. This isn't a shelter design, it's the idea underneath all the others, the right to build your own protection from the rain. For most of human history, if you could gather materials and build a roof, you had shelter. No permit, no zoning board, no $15,000 in engineering reviews for a $5,000 structure. Today, many cities impose minimum floor area requirements that ban homes under 600 to 1,200 square feet. Tiny homes, illegal by design. When a property owner tries to place a tiny home or allow someone to pitch a tent on their own land, zoning boards deny permits for incompatible use. The Ninth Circuit once held that a city may not criminally punish homeless persons for sleeping outside when there is no adequate alternative. The Supreme Court reversed that reasoning in Grants Pass. Shelter access, the court said, is irrelevant to whether the laws are constitutional. So the list of 3 shelters collapses into one fundamental question. Do you have the right to protect yourself from the weather using materials you can gather and skills you already have? It's not about engineering, it's about autonomy. About whether the most basic human survival skill, building a roof, requires permission from someone who profits from denying it. Grants Pass, Oregon. Population 38,000. 600 people experiencing homelessness. The city's public overnight shelter. 13 parking spaces. A tarp flaps on a corner near 6th Street. Rain pools where a stake pulled loose during the night. Inside, dry. Warm enough. Morning comes. A police officer approaches. "You're not allowed to do this. You are trespassing." The fine, $295. The person has $11 in their pocket. The tarp comes down. That night, the temperature drops to 34 degrees. There is no shelter bed available. The waiting list is 80 people long. The tarp goes back up in a different spot. The same $8 piece of blue plastic. The same human need for a roof.